Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we will be discussing Chapter 9 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, The Midnight Duel. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to dive into the details. Before we begin, let's go to Megan for the Weekly Prophet.
Hey guys. So the news this week is actually for our listeners over across the pond in England. Lucky you at Levsden Studios. What?
Her.
What am I doing?
Raising your hand.
I was going to be like, well, people could go, but it's also like in a month, so.
Yeah. Well, anyway, from Sunday the 1st of October to Sunday the 12th of November, you can discover the secrets behind enchanted floating pumpkins and Death Eater duels, as well as filmmaking, snot, blood, and drool.
Ew.
That is literally the description on the WB Studio Tour website.
Troll bogeys.
So it says, fans of Death Eaters, daring duels, and Halloween feasts are invited to delve deeper than ever before into the dark arts as we host a special feature dedicated to the darker side of the Harry Potter film series. New for 2017, the iconic Great Hall set will be decorated with over 100 floating pumpkins, just as seen on screen in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Created by head prop maker on all of the Harry Potter films, Pierre Bohanna. The pumpkins are modeled on those found in Hagrid's pumpkin patch and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and are hand-carved by the prop-making department, so no two are alike.
What?
The Great Hall tables will also be laden with a Halloween feast of red apples, pumpkins, and cauldrons of lollipops.
I'd give anything to get that feast.
That's not a feast.
It's amazing.
It's a candy feast.
After
That's
learning wand combat moves in an interactive experience with wand choreographer Paul Harris, who every single year comes to Universal for the celebration of Harry Potter and teaches you like wand choreography. It's awesome for anybody that goes to that in Orlando.
Did they announce when that is? Is it always like...
It's
They
January,
still
right?
haven't announced
February.
it.
This is like the latest they've
This
gone,
is the
right?
latest they've ever.
Are they going to have it?
They better.
Yeah.
I'll be so mad.
It's always the last week of January.
Okay.
Sometimes bleeding into February, but it's always that last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you will also test out your newly learned wand techniques as you're directed through a battle with Death Eaters who are storming the Hogwarts Bridge. As part of the feature, the original Death Eater costumes from the film series will be on display, allowing you to see up close the intricate details of the embroidered robes and hand-painted masks. During production, He Who Must Not Be Named's followers each wore a unique mask handmade by the prop-making department that was designed to reflect their personalities.
Wow.
I just have a question. Is that Peter guy, did he do the wand
Paul.
choreography? Oh, close.
And Mary.
No.
Paul Harris.
Did he do the wand choreography for the movies and stuff? Is that who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
He created what it
yeah.
looks like to throw spells.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's like his specialty now. So like, I mean, you can, you can kind of like take that and use it with like swords and that kind of stuff. But like he created the experience of dueling with wands because I mean, who had ever filmed that before?
Yeah. That's really cool.
You're right. So since they're going to have all these Death Eaters, do you think, I know that we're not going to get, what's his face? Who plays Voldemort?
Ray
Right,
Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
Fiennes.
Fines. I don't know. I
We're
know.
really bad with pronunciation.
No,
We don't know
it's
how to
Ray
s-
Fiennes.
I think it's
Ray
Fiennes.
Fiennes. I think his brother's very cute.
Do you think they're going to have a Voldemort there? I think so.
Could be.
I want to see pictures.
Do you think Bellatrix
Anybody
Lestrange
who
is gonna be there?
goes, you should take pictures and send them to us on our
Oh,
Facebook
yeah.
page.
Yeah. Tell us
We
about your
would
experience.
love to see it.
And we'll read it.
So we can live
Yeah.
through you.
Can I interject something really quickly
Yeah.
that I wish I would have interjected in the last episode? If you found one of our buttons at Universal, I left probably 15 to 20 buttons around the park. Will you let us know?
Yeah.
And your story around that and where you found it.
Me and Katie also left a ton in Diagon
yeah.
Alley in London, and I like put it on our Instagram story. And we actually went back to a ton of those spots, and they were all gone. So if we got any new listeners from that,
Yeah, let us
Tell
know.
us,
Yeah, I want to know your story. I want to know how you found it. I left a ton on platform 9 3/4. I forgot to leave them on the Hogwarts Express, but I left a lot in Hogsmeade, and I also left a couple at Seuss's Landing.
I wonder. I wonder, did like the people that work there clean them off and be like, "What the hell are these buttons?"
Well, but no. Well, I don't know.
And if they did,
most of the
I hope you're
people-
listening to them.
Almost, if not all of the people who work in the Wizarding world are fans of Harry Potter. Because, like, in order to get a job there, you have to, like, pass a knowledge test on Harry Potter. Like,
Oh,
you
so
have
we'd
to,
all win.
Yeah.
We'd win the job.
I did it. I actually applied and I did it. And I got it, but I turned it down because we moved home.
I wonder if they only take I want to take your test. I'm not a serious applicant, but I want to take your test.
It's, I mean, like, as long as you've seen the movies, you'd be able to pass it. But
The movies.
Well, then you're all wrong.
Who's Peeves?
Never heard of them.
you just have to have, you just have to have basic knowledge. Like,
Gotcha.
you have to be able to answer, like, basic questions about it.
All right.
What's a PSL?
Pumpkin spice latte.
There you go. That's basic knowledge.
Such a burn.
Sarah.
I did see a meme today where it was like a girl in like Uggs, Starbucks in hand, you know, big fat sweater, whatever, and it said it's basic season. Like, yes,
All right,
I'll participate.
Let's get back to Harry Potter.
What?
Katie, take it away.
But what if it was a Potter spice latte?
Ooh,
What would that taste like?
pumpkin.
It probably would
Gryffindor.
just taste like a pumpkin spice latte. All right, so little recap for our previous episode. We learned more about the ins and the outs of Hogwarts. We met Filch, the caretaker, and his trusty cat, Mrs. Norris. And we learned all about Squibs. Shout out to Squibs.
What?
We heard about the classes offered at Hogwarts for the first time. We met Snape and his absolute hatred for Harry.
What a jerk.
Yeah. We visited Hagrid in his hut and found out that Gringotts was broken into on the very same day that Harry and Hagrid had been there. So now, moving on to Chapter 9.
What is this magic?
Chapter 9, The Midnight Duel. Harry is full of hate for Draco Malfoy, and he's annoyed he has flying lessons with the Slytherins, and that means with Draco. Harry and Ron are excited to start their flying lessons and talk about Quidditch. The day of lessons come, and Neville gets a remember-all from his gran in the mail, and they're off to learn to fly. Standing by their brooms, Harry's flies into his hand as soon as he commands, and soon everyone else gets their brooms up as well. Neville climbs off of his broom, but it soon takes off, and he doesn't know how to control it. He soon falls from it and at a great distance. And Madam, oh my God. It makes no sense what I wrote because I can't type. Okay.
Just start at Neville.
He falls from a great distance.
Correct. But he breaks his arm is what I was supposed to say. But whatever. So Neville climbs on his broom, but soon it takes off and he doesn't know how to control it. He soon falls from a great distance, and Madam Hooch takes him to the hospital wing. Under the direction to stay put, and anyone flying their brooms would be kicked out of Hogwarts faster than they can say Quidditch. As soon as she leaves, Malfoy picks up Neville's remember-all and starts to fly, with Harry chasing after him. Malfoy throws the remember-all, and Harry catches it in the air. McGonagall, seeing this, comes out and takes Harry away from class and brings him to see Oliver Wood, the captain of the Gryffindor Quidditch team. Harry is now the brand new seeker for the Gryffindors, the youngest player in a century. Malfoy hears that Harry made the Quidditch team and is enraged, so he challenges Harry to a midnight duel, with Crabbe as his second. Harry accepts, with Ron as his second. Later on, they leave the common room with Hermione telling them off close to midnight, and after the door closes, Hermione can't go back inside because the fat lady is gone. So Hermione goes with them, and they find Neville on their way, sleeping in the hallway because he forgot the password. In the trophy room, they hear Filch coming and realize Malfoy played them, and they run, ending up in the forbidden corridor that has a large 3-headed dog that is guarding a trap door.
Dun dun dun.
Intrigue.
Who is the dog, and what is he guarding?
What?
Oh, we'll never know.
Don't you see what it's standing on?
It's guarding something.
Oh my God.
Guarding something.
All right. So when
I
we
was a bit preoccupied with his heads, or if you didn't notice, there are 3.
I wasn't looking at his feet.
I was a bit preoccupied with his heads.
Poor Neville wasn't even with them.
yeah.
At least he was probably safe in his, bed, remembering his password in the movies.
Oh my gosh. So when we begin the chapter, we see the flying lesson, and we learn that flying lessons are only offered to first-year students, which I thought was kind of interesting because I feel like if you don't get it, you don't have any other time to perfect it, or maybe they just practice on their own after they learn basics.
Practice makes perfect.
If you suck, you suck. Sorry.
Okay.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
And then we learn that Gryffindors have the lesson with Slytherins, and I don't know, they're paired with Slytherins frequently.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And Harry shows anxiety leading up to the lesson because he doesn't want to look like a fool in front of Malfoy because it's like his arch nemesis now. So Ron and Seamus discuss, how they're flying when they're younger, and they're really comfortable with it, and they're discussing Quidditch, and Harry feels really left out because he doesn't know any of those things. And then Ron and Dean Thomas get into a really great argument about soccer versus Quidditch. And Ron thought it was boring because soccer only has one ball. And Ron tries to make the poster of the soccer players move, which I thought was really funny because he just can't understand Muggle stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny.
That's cute.
We also find out that even though Neville comes from a wizarding family, he's never been on a broom because he's very accident prone, and Gran wouldn't let him.
We see that happen pretty fast.
Do we? Oh, I almost asked a stupid question. Do we know when his birthday is? Because I wonder if I do. I know we know, but I wonder if they're actually
July 30th, right?
What star sign is that?
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
IDK.
I'm not one of those peeps.
I just know mine.
I just know Aries are very accident prone, and let me tell you, whew, I'm accident prone.
Are we?
Oh, he's a Leo.
We do run into stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God.
How many
Leo.
concussions have you had since
How
I've known you?
appropriate.
I don't know.
At least 3.
You've had 3 concussions?
I don't remember that.
Didn't you hit your head like at your apartment and pass out, or like one time you hit your the trunk hit your head, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
See? Accident prone. How many things have I broken? A toe, both wrists, my heart.
Did you say you broke your tail?
No, both wrists.
Her toe.
My toe. I broke a toe.
I thought you said tail.
Sarah has a tail.
Oh, gosh.
Secretly.
We also see Hermione nervous for the first time about something in school because, and I said, this, you can disagree with me or not, but I said because it's a physical act rather than just using her brain.
Oh yeah.
She
and
can't learn how to fly out of a book.
Well, she tried. So she reads up about flying in Quidditch with Neville, and they hope to gain, they're reading this at the breakfast table, and Neville's just on the edge of his seat trying to learn everything he can because he's scared too, in the hopes of gaining knowledge and skill from just reading her tips. And the mail comes. Neville gets to remember all. And then we go to our flying lesson. And right off the bat, Malfoy goes into bullying mode. And we even see this before they go on to the field to fly. When they're in the Great Hall, he snatches the Remembrall out of Neville's hand.
What a jerk.
And then McGonagall comes down, and she's right there. And he's just looking at it. I'm you little snot. Back to your table. And then we meet Madam Hooch. And then Katie asks this question. Madam Hooch's eyes are yellow. Hello. And it says she's hawk-like. So we were wondering, is her animagus a hawk?
Also, is she half something?
Is she half hawk?
Is she half bird?
Is she hawk lady?
Is she half pigeon?
See here, listen to a previous episode.
Is there anything on Pottermore about her?
Good question.
Do you guys never look at this website?
What does it say?
It just says behind the scenes, Madam Hooch. We're gonna click on it. You
Behind the
guys can
scenes.
keep talking, and I read.
Good afternoon, Madam Hooch. Why do they say it like that?
class.
Good afternoon, Commander. Good afternoon.
She's also in Doctor Who. She's the last human.
All right.
She's just a large, not thick, but a thin piece of skin with a face.
None of us know what you're talking
All
about.
right.
Shout out to Doctor Who if you watch it.
I'm not a Whoville person.
Whoville. Now we're in Dr. Seuss.
Where am I at in my here?
Neville kicks off
Neville,
hard.
yeah. So Neville gets all crazy, kicks off his broom really hard, and he ends up falling and breaking his wrist. And so Katie, again, coming in clutch. Does Neville have a boost of magic when he's nervous?
I would say yes.
Because he kicks off the ground really hard, and these brooms suck.
Yes.
So
And when he first showed magic, he was dropped out of a window, and I would say that would make you nervous. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like
What
he
do
has
you
a
think?
knack for it.
I think for sure, because we've talked about, I personally think that it's your magic is tied to your emotions. So
Yeah.
like when you are almost not in control of your own emotions, you cannot control your magic.
Yeah.
True.
And I don't know if I wrote this in here, but can we talk about the fact that Hogwarts has crappy brooms?
No, we can't talk about that.
Yeah, why? I don't
Yeah, they
get
like
it.
don't fly properly, and
Yeah. Why do they have garbage brooms? Like, get new brooms.
Why don't they just ask Lucius Malfoy to buy them? He's rich.
Ooh.
Well, they have
he
a
did,
whole
technically,
thing
I
to
guess.
buy other people's stuff. And
Except Ron. He can't get it.
well, we are going to discuss this next. I'm assuming in the next chapter or whenever Harry gets his broom,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
buys it. Because we all think McGonagall would have. Not saying she did, but I could see her being like, "Yeah, Gryffindor's going to be the winner because I love Gryffindors and nobody else." McGonagall says,
Yeah.
"You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they just don't care that they're crappy brooms because first year's learning on them.
Yeah, but then you got to think like people playing Quidditch for school are using them. Unless they're bringing brooms from
I
home.
think they bring their own.
Yeah,
Even
well-
the Weasleys have their clean sweeps.
I guess. I don't know.
Like maybe that's like a thing. Like they have to provide their own brooms if you're playing Quidditch.
Except Harry.
Well, but they
That's
bought
Harry.
him one.
And
he could have used the school
He was
one.
fully capable of purchasing his own.
Correct.
I mean,
Maybe they took the money out of his vault and they didn't tell him.
Oh.
Maybe.
No, they would have told. No.
Hagrid's like, I know where to find
Well,
Harry's
like-
money.
Right.
Maybe in how it is in like the real world, like if I'm 11 years old and my parents are dead and I have all this money in a vault, like there's an overseer of my account. So if
Yeah.
I need something, it comes out of that, but I can't personally take it out until I'm 18. Maybe that's how it is in the Wizarding world.
Could be.
Good thought.
Could be.
But
I
it's
don't
for
know.
another episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right. So when Neville falls, the Remember All is left on the ground, and Malfoy goes into bullying mode again, and he picks it up, and he's just a jerk. And then I was thinking about how Malfoy is a bully, and I kind of think that Malfoy is bullied by his father at home in a way, even though like he's loved at home by his mother, especially when we find that out later in 7 how much. And but I think his father, I think he bullies him into trying to make him like this, the man that Malfoy Sr. thinks that he is. Mm-hmm. And so I think that Malfoy also sees his father bullying people, and he gets his way because of it. And then he goes ahead and projects this behavior on other people who he feels are less than him. And so that's why I think we see Malfoy acting the way that he does, because he's a direct product of his environment.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's a good observation.
You?
I've always thought that he was not to say he was abused, but I think that his dad was like,
Yeah.
why aren't your grades better? Why aren't you friends with Harry Potter?
Yeah, and he talks about, the Muggle-born Hermione, and why aren't you as good as she is, and blah, 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 and
Just constantly like degrading him.
Yeah.
It's always something negative instead of
never
any
good
sort of
enough.
positive. Yeah.
And even like when you see, at least in the movie later on, when he in the fourth one where they're at the Quidditch, the World Cup, and he's like, "Oh, we're sitting with the minister," and then his dad's like, "Don't boast," and he's like, "But you
even though
almost are like,
Malfoy
you want
Sr.
him to
boasts.
boast, and then all of a sudden you don't want him to."
Yeah.
So yeah, he's
It's a
got
messed up
tumultuous
relationship.
relationship with his father.
I agree.
Just like Luke Skywalker.
I love Star Wars. And then I caught a movieism. And Harry doesn't stand up for Neville right away. Pavardi does when Malfoy calls Neville fat.
Oh, yeah.
And then Pansy Parkinson's like, "Oh, you like those guys?"
How does he? How does
she
say
talks?
Yeah. She does this too.
I just remember being a kid watching that scene. I was like, "Oh, he said ass," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's like,
Oh, he does.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like, if the fat something
Fall on his fat.
yeah, fat
Beep.
ass, yeah,
And then Harry jumps in after that.
yeah."
So
Give it here, Malfoy.
So that's a movieism. We have to remember to separate them.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard.
It
is.
is.
It's hard, like rereading, especially the first book, going, "Oh my god, I can't." In the books, Neville is so much more a part of their group
Yes.
than he is in the movies. But at the same time, like he's still not
Not.
the trio, but
Yeah.
he is so much, like he's in it so much more.
Coming in clutch at the end.
Draco's so much more in the books too than in the movies, I think. I mean, granted, you do see him be like enemy number one to Harry and everything until Voldemort really comes into the picture.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right. And Hermione, of course, is trying to follow the rules, telling Harry no and
no.
don't chase after him. But Harry's a rebel without a cause. And then I wrote, joking, he has a cause. But here he is playing the hero.
Harry's really good at that.
Just kidding.
And so he tries to help Neville out, calls out Malfoy for being a coward without Crabbe and Goyle. And that's when Malfoy throws the Remembrall. And I wrote in the doc, Harry is, in all caps, such a freaking boss.
He is.
And performs a Wronski
Wronski
feint.
feint. Did anybody else catch that? Because again, this is something I did not catch until
I
this
caught-
Not
reread.
until this time.
I caught it after 4 when Crumb did it. Because I was like, Harry did that.
I didn't catch it
No?
ever. Sometimes I skip words when I read.
You're a turd.
I actually have never read any Harry Potter books.
Oh my gosh.
I always skip the first chapter of 4 when I reread it because I hate that chapter.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, this is boring. This is not Harry or Ron or Hermione. It's some old guy in a house. Yeah, I hate it.
You're nuts.
Shout out to Frank.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Pour one out for Frank.
Good old Frankie.
My boy's
We're
so
gonna
bad
pour
for
one
him.
out
He's
for
just doing his
Frankie.
job.
Just tending to the graves.
Okay. That's no.
This is what happens when we record at 11:30 at night.
So I pulled up the Harry Potter wiki and the Wronski feint. It's a defensive tactic in Quidditch where the seeker pretends to spot the golden snitch far below and races down to catch it, hoping the opposing seeker will copy. And then at the last second before reaching the ground, the fainting seeker pulls out of the dive, usually causing the opposing seeker to crash. And it's classified as a dangerous seeker diversion when viewed through the omnioculars. Omnioculars. Blah, blah, blah. It was invented by a Polish seeker, Józef Wronski, and is frequently used by the famed Bulgarian seeker Victor Crumb. Hermione Granger also calls it the wonky feint
And Ron laughs.
because she's awesome. So that's flying.
But is it?
But don't you just love to fly on a little broomstick, just going in the air?
No.
You're gonna catch some balls playing Quidditch.
So Harry does the wonky feint. JK.
Rowling.
Wronski feint. And then McGonagall comes storming across the grounds.
I love her.
Oh yeah.
And goes, Harry Potter! And Harry basically immediately is like, that's it. I'm expelled. It's over. I'm going back to the Dursleys.
I didn't even last 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
He's mad at himself for blowing it so quickly. McGonagall genuinely seems angry at first. So I guess it's not too crazy that Harry jumps to this conclusion, but she immediately takes him inside, says, come with me straight away. And they go directly to the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom. And McGonagall goes up and asks for wood. And Harry immediately is like, wood? What? Is she gonna like beat me? What is going on?
I love that part.
He doesn't know the punishments they do at Hogwarts.
Hanging in the dungeon.
If it was up to Filch,
get
he would
paddled.
be beaten. Yeah.
But then it's immediately clear that she just is calling a person Oliver Wood, and he is not about to get beaten. And he's not even going to get in trouble, in fact. He's going to get on the team, the Quidditch team.
Can I just say, first of all, I love McGonagall. And this is like, we were talking earlier about how you were calling her kind of a harder person, personality-wise. I just love that she's like, as much as she is a hard person, she's like, no, like, we're going to win. Gryffindor's the best.
Yeah.
And so she goes out there and she's like, all these kids are going to be like, oh, Harry's getting in trouble. But secretly she's like, no, we just found a secret. Let's go. Like, Wood, we are winning. Like, we're going to be the team.
How
Yeah, she's-
So you
Gryffindors
see a
roll.
different side of her. I
Ayo.
like that.
She's so excited about it. She's like, Wood, I found you a seeker.
Well, and especially you see, like, she's someone that values education so much, she's willing to interrupt not one, but 2 classes to be like, bring out our team together.
Yeah. And she goes on to talk about how perfect Harry's build is for a seeker and discusses how his skills are like better than Charlie Weasley or Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran is one hell of a Quidditch player.
Oh.
And then Harry finds out that his dad was on the team as well. The movie says that he was a seeker, but I believe that he is actually a chaser. I didn't.
Where's that at? I need evidence.
Watch 'em all. This also shows you, because McGonagall played Quidditch as well, so you can tell that she's very into her team sports because she wants to win.
Yes, it says Harry Potter lexicon says that he was a chaser. Let me
Where's their source?
pull up their source.
And Pottermore just a skilled Quidditch player.
It says at Hogwarts, James was very popular. He was on the Gryffindor Quidditch team as a chaser, and then it doesn't give me a link, but I think that that's a Scholastic interview. Let me go down to the. Let me go down to the.
Gosh, I'm looking at James's Pottermore, and it's all these quotes from the end of the
I'm
books.
sorry if anybody can like hear me breathing. I have a cold, so I like can't breathe through my nose. So I'm just throwing that apology out
I'm
there.
getting a little emotional reading these.
Oh, here we go. Sources. Harry Potter. Oh, second Scholastic online chat. Yeah, she used to do these chats through Scholastic where it was like it was just like a chat room that you would go into, and then you could ask her questions and she would answer. And that is where she said it came out. So it came out of her fingers. She typed it that he was a chaser.
His face.
It was just a weird way to put that, but okay.
Well, I didn't want to say her mouth because it wasn't like a speaking interview. She was
You're right.
typing it in a chat room.
I miss
Okay.
chat rooms.
I'll accept it.
Throwback to like early 2000s.
Throwback.
chat room.
Shout out to the MuggleNet chat rooms. I used to go in those all the time.
I don't think I knew how to work those ones.
Oh my god, I loved them.
I wasn't allowed to be on the internet anyway. So.
Also, we find out that Harry is the youngest player in a century, and we also find out that Fred and George Weasley are on the team as beaters. And then lastly, I find it hilarious that Draco comes up to Harry and is like, "Oh, are you enjoying your last meal? When do you go on the train?" And then it's like,
when school ends with you.
So I just think that that's funny because Draco is so cocky about it. And then it's like,
Draco.
"Oh, I'm not going to tell you this, but I'm actually just on the Quidditch team. See you later."
I think Tiffany brought this up, but this is the first time in a long line of times that Harry gets away with just about anything.
Special treatment for the chosen one, y'all.
He is the chosen
He is the
one.
boy who lived, so they're gonna be like, oh,
The boy who didn't die. Wouldn't that be funny if that's actually what they called him?
that's a sad way to put it.
Probably
sad.
what Voldemort called him. The boy who didn't die.
BWDD.
Oh my gosh.
Should I read that line?
No.
Nope.
Sarah wrote a rude comment in our Google Docs. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
usual. So Draco and Harry have a little bit of an argument in the Great Hall, and Malfoy ends up challenging Harry to a wizard duel. And Ron immediately volunteers himself to be Harry's second, which we later find out means that if Harry were to die, Ron would take over the duel. And I think it's funny that Ron points out that the most that Harry and Malfoy are going to be able to do is send sparks at each other.
I think that whole section there is just like so cute. How Ron is like, "Yeah, I'll be his second."
Yeah, he
and
just-
like
I
Harry
love
doesn't
Ron.
even like understand or know what he's talking about, and then Ron at the end just like, "It's if you die," and then Harry's like, "What?"
Shows
Like,
what a good friend.
Without
Ron
skipping
is.
a beat, though, he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll die for you.
Yeah. Best friends, besties.
Die from
Life.
those sparks, dude. I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
So Hermione butts in because she doesn't want them to lose any points for Gryffindor, but they're super mean to her as they are until I think the next chapter.
Yep. The next chapter's Halloween.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween.
Halloween. Halloween. Halloween. Halloween.
We could sing the whole song. I've
We'll
proven
sing that
this on
next episode because it's
Snapchat.
Halloween.
It will be October.
Well, I meant the episode.
That episode.
The
will
next-
air
Well, the
Chapter's
episode will
called
air in
Halloween.
October, though.
October 1st.
Yeah.
That's pretty boss.
We digress and move back into our podcast.
No.
Talking about Twilight and all things sparkly vampires.
Someone's going to be like,
I hope people don't get offended. We don't not like Twilight. We just like Harry Potter significantly
all right.
better. Yeah. Just Harry Potter's
It's a
the
fun
best
rivalry.
thing that's ever been written by me.
Twilight would be a lot better if Stephanie Meyer knew how to write books.
Whoa.
Shade.
So much shade. Okay, Katie.
Anyway, so
Sorry, not sorry.
Hermione tries to stop them again when Harry and Ron get out of bed to go and meet Malfoy, because it's supposed to be at midnight, hence the chapter's name. And she ends up getting locked out of Gryffindor Tower and decides to go along with them. And while they are going through the corridors, they run into Neville, who had forgotten the password and couldn't get back into the common room. And this would so be me every night. So Ron mentioned something about if either Hermione or Neville gets them caught, he's going to learn to use the Curse of the Bogies on them. And we wanted to know what that was.
Yeah.
HP Lexicon says it gives you a very bad cold and an extremely runny nose. So I think someone may have cursed me with that currently because I'm fighting a cold.
Someone on the plane back from Orlando.
Honestly. It's a dark magic curse, and the incantation is mucus ad nauseum, which I think is hilarious. So they get all the way to the trophy room without getting caught, but Malfoy's late, and then they hear Filch and realize they've been set up, and they hurry away, only to run into a suit of armor and cause an enormous ruckus in the hallway. And I think Harry, in all caps, says, "Run," which made me laugh when I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love their night adventures throughout Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I love it. They're such rebels.
Without a cause.
Little 11-year-old rebels.
Yes.
No, Sarah, they have a cause.
Yeah, I wrote that in the doc.
But what kind of cause do they have to run?
Defeating the Dark Lord.
It's all about defeating Voldemort.
It's all about the money, money, money. No.
It's all about the galleons.
Katie coming in
And the
clutch.
canuts. Oh, it doesn't work the same.
Sickles.
Sickle, sickle, sickle. I made you.
What is
You guys, it is almost midnight where we're at.
The best part
I'm
is we have
sorry.
so much left to do after this podcast, though.
Yeah, like go to sleep.
Guys,
Okay.
it's the midnight duel. We have
Midnight Duel.
No, just go.
Here's a bug.
No, kill it.
Just a Squeedo.
A squeak.
Okay, so they're on the run from Filch.
Mosquito. Oh.
So they're on the run from Filch.
They're on the run from Filch, you
So
say?
they're on the run from Filch. So as Katie was kind of saying, Malfoy has set them up basically so they'll get in trouble because he's jealous because Harry's now on the Quidditch team and he doesn't even get to have a broomstick at Hogwarts, even though his father is Lucius Malfoy.
My father will hear about this.
So we hear that Filch and his cat are sniffing around to find these students.
sniffing around.
Look what it says. So they sneak out of the trophy room and without being noticed by Filch. And so they start like trying to run away from him as they hear him getting closer. Okay. And Neville like runs into armor or whatever. And so they make a lot of noise. So they really start running. They book it down the corridor, and then they run through a tapestry and through a secret passageway, and they end up basically on the other side, miles away is what they say, from the trophy room. But as luck would have it, Peeves, the lovely poltergeist, comes out of a classroom,
Yes.
sees
Oh,
them, and
Peeves.
like they're kind of being like, "Don't tell anyone." Well, he starts screaming about first years being out of bed.
Ickle firsties.
Can I just say, I teach first grade, and I call my kids firsties.
Oh my gosh!
That's awesome.
And
You
so
call them ickle firsties?
No, they'd be like, what?
So then they try to run away from Peeves, who's creating all this noise, to get Filch over there to be like, no, there's kids out of bed. So they run down the hallway. They get to the end. There's a door. It's locked. And they're all freaking out because they don't want to get caught. Hermione takes Harry's Ron.
It is Harry's Ron, though. Aww.
She uses Ron to open the door. No, she uses Harry's wand, says, hello, Hamora, and opens the door. So they scramble, the four of them, inside the room.
Hello, Hamora.
And they're kind of listening, and they hear Filch telling Peeves, like, where did they go? Where did they go? And then Peeves is kind of helping them out a little bit, but just also being Peeves himself, because he's like, well, no, you have to tell me, please. And Filch is like, it's not happening. So he doesn't find them.
Doesn't he
doesn't
say,
tell
like,
them.
shan't say nothing?
Yeah,
If
something
you don't
like
say,
that.
Please.
I want to find it. You keep going.
And soon they kind of hear nothing. Filch kind of hopefully leaves. They are thinking while they're in the room, and Neville is pulling on Harry's sleeve. And Harry and Co. realize that what they thought was a room was actually the corridor that Dumbledore said is forbidden. And they finally see why it's forbidden, because there's a huge, monstrous, three-headed dog. Having to choose between getting eaten by the three-headed dog and Filch, they pick Filch. So luckily for them, when they open the door to leave, no one's there. And so then they run all the way back to the Gryffindor common room. And so once they get back to the common room, the four of them kind of talk about the fact that, they're keeping a dog in the corridor, like why that's kind of terrifying.
What's a thing like that doing locked up in a school?
And Hermione, the brilliant one, points out, she's like, well, did you notice that it's standing on something? It's standing on a trapdoor. And of course they're like, no, because we're staring at a three-headed dog. We were kind of preoccupied, like deer in headlights staring at the dog. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, this is one of the first times you kind of see how Hermione's priorities are a little bit skewed, because then she's like, we could have been killed, or worse, expelled. So the fact that Hermione thinks that being expelled from Hogwarts is the worst thing that could happen to her, including her not living anymore.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
My, oh my, how she changes just in the next book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, because as of right now, reading this for the first time, we don't know what's under there. We have no idea what the dog is even guarding. Yeah.
So I feel like in this book, she's more of a Ravenclaw. And then when we get into 2, she's starting to really turn into Gryffindor.
Even the end of this book.
I agree
I
with the end.
think that the best description of why Hermione is not a Ravenclaw is because she values bravery over cleverness. Right. Even though she's very clever herself, she says it at the end of this book. She said, books and cleverness, that only gets you so far.
Yeah. Well, and I think that she grows, as much as like she's willing to learn. And then you see her in the what's the 5th book called? Order of the Phoenix.
There you go.
Where she's like, no, we can't learn. You can't learn Defense Against the Dark Arts from a book.
Right.
So you see her completely change.
Right.
Being like, no, we need to learn, like practice. That's, the best way to learn it.
Like, and how Dumbledore says sometimes they sort too soon. That could be true. But also, I feel like the Sorting Hat takes into
knows.
consideration
Yes.
future events.
I don't
I wonder if we
think
could see
that-
the future.
I don't think that they do sort too early.
I don't think so
mean,
either.
I don't really know of an example where the character didn't at some point really live up to their house. Like
too.
there, clearly there's different ways to be brave or clever or loyal or
I just don't want him in my house.
ambitious.
You can't win them all. I have Lockhart in my house.
At least he's pretty.
Okay.
Let's talk about Slytherin.
Wait,
we've got enough bad crap that comes out of Slytherin. And, that's just like every house has their thing, but good and bad comes from everywhere. Mm-hmm. And as Sirius says, like it's about what everybody has light and dark inside them. It's just about what you act on,
It's your choices that define you.
right?
All right. So I said, wouldn't you think that if a dog is guarding something so important that essentially a Dumbledore has forbidden people to go in this corridor? So this is what we know. Corridor's off limits. Don't go there. He even says because you'll die a most painful death. Why do you have a 3-headed dog guarding something in a school full of children?
That you can get into the room by just casting a
Yes!
little
Wouldn't you think that they would have more, like, 4 11-year-olds got into this room? Like, that blows my mind.
They can hide in a whole castle from the whole world.
Yeah.
And put enchantments on it and everything because, they say in one of the books that dark forces always try to get in. But they can't lock a door properly from an 11-year-old child.
Well, and when Harry and Ron and Hermione are traveling around in a tent, they have more protective measures than this. Just saying.
They should have just brought Fluffy with them. He would have bit
What
everybody.
happened to Fluffy?
I don't know.
What happened to Fluffy?
Good question.
Does he just
It's-
run
that's for
amok in the
another day.
forest?
I don't know.
Fluffy.
With Ed Sheeran.
Dear
somewhere.
Hagrid,
Yeah.
where did Fluffy go?
But truthfully,
Call me up. I'm your BFF. Yeah. And I said, all Dumbledore said was to stay away. But does that really work with kids?
No, it's going to make
Like, tell them, exactly, tell them not to do something, and I bet you they'll do it anyways. And I also said this is, like, one of the first times you hear in the chapter before this, the potions master, that there are hidden hallways and secret passages because Filch knows them. So you see for the first time, though, that they're using them. First of all, I wonder how dusty they are. And it just shows you how easy it is to get lost because they essentially don't know where they're going. And I know I would get lost.
Yeah.
And there's so many little secrets in Hogwarts.
The quirks of Hogwarts.
Quirks of Hogwarts.
I think that J.K. Rowling answered what happened to Fluffy on
What happened?
Twitter.
Do tell.
It says...
I love that your hand is still raised.
Sorry.
The suspense is killing me.
Here we go. What happened to Fluffy after he was released into the forest? So apparently he was released into the forest. I hope he returned to Hogwarts for the battle. And J.K. Rowling responded and said he was repatriated. Repatriated? God, why do we suck at pronunciation?
Relocated.
He was relocated to Greece. Dumbledore liked to put Hagrid's more foolish acquisitions back where they belong, not the forest.
I read that. That sounds
that's good, though.
That sounds familiar to
So
me now.
Fluffy went back to Greece, everybody.
All right. Okay. I feel better now.
Living the life in Greece.
Right. Who's taking care of that? Wee. Ed Sheeran.
Next question.
Ed Sheeran.
Yes, sure.
He visits once a week. I don't know. Or longer.
Can
I
I
mean,
read
sooner.
what Peeves says?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys, Peeves left out of the movies, which I can actually kind of get because he probably looked terrible.
Yeah, that's why they did
Yeah.
it. They filmed scenes and it didn't work well.
And they were like, nah, you
They
are
filmed
terrible.
like every scene for him for the first movie, and
Yeah.
then when editing was just like, we're just like, no.
Why didn't they do that with Grop?
He was a major part of that. You can't delete
but,
him.
But let me it's none of my business.
Yeah. But the way that he speaks is just hilarious. So he's like, Wandering around at midnight, ickle firsties, tut tut tut, naughty naughty, you'll get caughty. Like, I just love that. And then Ron, get out of the way, snapped Ron, taking a swipe at Peeves. This was a big mistake. And then he's like, students out of bed. And then, oh, I don't want to highlight you. When he's talking to Filch and Filch is trying to figure out where they're at, he's like, which way do they go, Peeves? Quick, tell me. And Peeves says, say please. Filch says, don't mess with me, Peeves. Now, where did they go? Peeves says, shan't say nothing if you don't say please, in his annoying sing-song voice. And he says, all right, please. Nothing, ha ha. Told you I wouldn't say nothing if you didn't say please, ha ha ha. And then he whooshes away. I love that he whooshes.
Yeah.
Whoosh. He's just written perfectly.
Peeves is just the biggest PETA you could possibly imagine, you know?
PETA.
Pain in the...
Oh.
PETA.
Pina.
Tuckus. I thought you said PETA like Peter
No,
Griffin
PETA.
or
PETA.
PETA from...
No, like pita
what's
bread.
it?
I'm not smart. I'm thinking there's no T.
There isn't, huh?
I just tried to make a joke, guys. Okay,
I enjoyed
That's
it.
all I tried.
All right, take a moment to laugh at Katie's joke.
Thank you very much.
Lightning bolt round.
It is time for the lightning bolt round.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the lightning bolt round.
I have 2 questions.
2 questions.
I thought you said light as a gentleman, and I was like, what does that mean?
What is that?
Light as
box?
a feather.
Stiff as a board.
What is your question?
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yep.
What did Neville forget?
A remember roll.
Not a movieism.
I know what happened in the movie.
I know, that's why I'm looking at you saying not a movieism.
What does does it say in the book what he forgets?
I don't think so. Are we just guessing?
You can Google
You know?
lightning bolt round questions.
Is there an answer to it?
No, I don't know.
I'm gonna
Did it seem
say
like I did?
he forgot the password to the
That's
Gryffindor
what I was
common
thinking.
room.
That's what I was thinking.
I
In the
can't forget what I've
movie-
forgotten.
Yeah, tell him
In the movie, he does not have his robes on. He just has a school sweater.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tis,
Mind blown.
tis true
What?
What
that
could
he
have
forgot his
forgotten
ropes.
in the book.
In the movie.
Yeah.
I'm talking about books.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say the password.
I
'cause
said password.
Isn't it the same night? Would it be the same night?
Same, like the night of that day.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgot to do some
Meg,
homework.
answer.
Can I have a question for everybody?
I would say
The number fit, multiply, minus it, then you bring the number down and do it all at what?
I don't understand what's happening.
She's on the Harry Potter wiki and one of their
God.
ads started reading. That's embarrassing.
All right.
Was that like a math jingle?
Sounded like
Answer the question because I have a good one.
Before she
Good
forgets.
question for this.
It was probably the password.
Lightning bolt round. Do you know what the password to the Gryffindor common room was?
The first one? Yes.
No, right now. The one in this chapter.
Oh.
What is it?
pig snout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, the
I didn't-
Gryffindor
I
didn't know it.
remember
Well, aren't
Hufflepuffs
you
and
smart?
Ravenclaws. The Ravenclaws are getting in.
I knew what it was.
I have another one.
Yes.
This isn't like a. I mean, it's like. I don't
Just
know.
read the question.
Whoa.
Sassy. Where did the fat lady go?
To see Sir Cadogan.
Probably to have some wine with her friend in that one portrait.
She loves that.
She went for a walk.
I don't see her being a walker.
Maybe she went to go get food. She went to go sing.
Maybe she was hungry.
I'm saying she went to go have some wine.
Yeah.
I think she met up with a significant other.
Ooh la
Sir
la.
Cadogan.
Could be.
That's what I said.
I don't know. I feel like she would get really annoyed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real annoyed.
But she's also really annoying. So.
Yeah, true.
All right. I've got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What ferocious animal would you want to be guarding your little secret? Like if you had like a sorcerer's stone, your own sorcerer's stone, if you had a Katie stone or a Megan
Katie stone.
or a Tiffany stone. What, not
wants
a three-headed dog, what ferocious animal would you want?
But what if that is all I would want?
You
That's
want a
fine.
3-headed dog named Fluffy?
Yeah.
A dragon.
I was gonna say
It's not an
Norwegian Ridgeback.
Yes, and a female, the nastiest of them.
I would want
That's a cat.
sphinx.
The ferocious dragon goes meow. A sphinx. That's
I would
good.
just-
You'd have
That's
to
pretty
answer a riddle.
balls.
I'd
You have
have
to, yeah,
Tiffany
answer
sitting
it.
on front of my trapdoor, being like, "No, go away."
It's terrifying to me.
But I'd also make sure that she was hungry because woof.
Yeah. I get hangry.
totally
and
understand
Snickers don't help.
But not hungry like not I need a meal like hungry in between meals because that's really when you get her.
Do you think she knows me, you guys?
Yeah. Let me
Do
think
you
of some
Hulk
other
out when you're
questions.
hungry?
I hug out hard.
Me too.
What position would you want to play on your Quidditch team?
Chaser.
I think we've done this one before.
We have done this
we?
one.
Chaser.
I don't remember what I said.
I think I'd want to be a seeker. I'd be Lee Jordan announcing things.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a chaser.
Ravenclaw's the bomb. They won all the points. No, they didn't, Sarah. Yeah, they did. You want to know why? Because I'm the one reading them. Ding.
Ding. Let's get some more lightning bolt round questions. Come on.
Let's think.
Get those brains rolling.
Ooh, I got a question. If instead of a broom, what else would you want to fly? Shout out to Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They flew
Oh,
vacuums.
yeah.
I would like to fly a thestral.
Yes.
I mean, okay.
Or,
In
Quidditch?
An inanimate object.
but you didn't say that because I was going to say hippogriff.
Nope, that's not right.
It's not
an
English.
object.
Object. An object.
I was going to say vacuum cleaner because I was thinking of Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
It's almost Hocus Pocus season.
I can't
It
wait.
is already Hocus Pocus season.
Okay,
What
well,
are you talking
name
about?
something.
I don't know.
What's something that would be fun
A
to fly?
trash can.
I would fly
You could hang into it. You could be all cuddly inside of
a
it.
chair so I could sit.
I was
Katie,
thinking that
totally
as well.
off topic. There's a bounce ball right there. You could probably take home.
Ooh.
That's a fact. You can have it.
There you
Sweet,
go.
Thank you.
What would I fly?
Who would you fly?
What would I fly?
I'd want to fly a blanket so that I'd be warm.
You feel like a new age
It's like a magic carpet. What are you, Aladdin?
I would fly in my bed because then I could like sleep.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Great way
You're
to travel.
welcome. Yeah.
I'm just a lazy boy.
Ooh, good answer.
Yeah, one with the
Yeah.
fridge in the side.
Speakers in the headrest.
yeah,
All right, I got another question.
luxury. I love it that you have. Dang it, you guys! She has all these great questions.
But keep talking
I
because you're gonna
can't
make me forget
I
it.
can't come up with anything other than the
Shoot.
two that I planned.
Okay. All right. Imagine I'm setting the scene. Close your eyes. Think really deep. Mm-hmm. You're getting ready. You have a midnight duel. you're faced with Malfoy and his second of Crab. Who is your second?
Marty.
Meg.
Katie.
Myself. I don't know. Who would I pick?
You'd pick me.
Who would I pick?
You'd pick me because I am a boss.
Maybe
Maybe.
Jen.
So wait, you would have her guard the stone, but you wouldn't have her be your second?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, just make her hungry and she'll destroy whoever destroyed you.
I have another
Getting
question.
serious. It's getting serious in here. This is a lightning
What?
bolt round.
What would you have Fluffy guard? Name something you would have him guard. Something you actually have in real life.
What?
Like, you can't be like, I'd have him hide my Sorcerer's Stone. We don't have a Sorcerer's Stone, all right? Because they destroyed it.
Like a non-living thing?
Anything you want. It could even be your own dog.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, hide my Fozzie Bear.
My autographed Stephen Curry basketball card.
Oh,
my God.
It's special because I actually had him sign it. Like I was there. It was awesome.
I was there.
I saw him in the flesh.
Katie.
He was gorgeous.
I don't know.
Would you have your
Quaffle.
quaffle?
Yes. I was thinking food, so no one could.
That's a good
after my
Hufflepuff
own
answer.
I know.
That is such a Katie
You
answer.
sit here, guard my fridge. No one.
The whole
can come.
fridge.
The whole fridge.
whole
And nothing
fridge.
but the fridge, so help me God.
And you will not be able to open it with a Lohomora.
Sarah, what are you hiding?
What would I hide? Probably my bed. Don't come near me while I'm napping.
Oh my God.
I would protect my naps.
Let's think. Whatever.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
It's going to be a little weird. What would you say to Peeves to have him, like, help you? Have Filch stay away from you.
Ooh.
Because he can't take a swat at him like Ronald.
I would probably ask him, what do you want? Like, do you want me to do something? Like, I will help you out for the rest of my days here. I will be your
begging
number
him.
one. But like, if he was like, I need help, like, causing ruckus, I'd be like, I'm your number one girl. Me and you, bro. We're going to do it. We're going to cause some ruckus.
All
I'm a
right.
ruckus causer.
Okay.
Being a Hufflepuff, I'd be like, hey, I'm right by the kitchens. You need all the food you want to throw at people?
Can they eat food?
I got you.
No, he throws
Throw
it
it.
at people.
Oh,
Throw it.
throw. I'm sorry.
It's I like that, Katie. I like that answer.
I would just like direct him to cause havoc somewhere. Because even if I don't have authority, if I'm going to go tell him to destroy something, he'll grab that opportunity and do it, I think.
I'd be like, the Bloody Baron said to go here and do this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let me think if I can pick any other things out.
Of your brain.
Where would you run if you're hiding from Filch?
Do we know the room of requirement?
Yeah. Although he can access that.
Yeah, but if you
A toilet. And then I'm going to say, sorry, in use.
think I need someplace to hide, then he won't be able to open it.
True.
Just like
They couldn't open
based
it.
on when Draco was in there, Harry couldn't open it no matter how hard he tried, no matter how he worded it. It would not open for him whenever Draco was in there. So,
I don't know if I have any more questions.
do we want to go to the fan story?
I'm going to roll a fan story.
Sure.
They see me rolling.
All right, so our fan story this week comes from Ariel Orcutt. She says, hi, I just found your podcast yesterday. I don't know what yesterday that was. And I'm loving it so far. Great discussions. Anyway, I was in 3rd grade when I first read the first Harry Potter book. One of my classmates had read it and said it was amazing, so I borrowed it from her, read the first page, and gave up. This is exactly me. It was just so boring. Surprise, surprise that the Dursleys could be boring. I gave it back without reading any more of it a week later. Fortunately, that summer, my family actually bought a box set of the first 3 for us and my sisters, and I started reading them. On the second try, once I got through the first chapter, I was hooked, as was the rest of my family, and the rest is history. Dumbledore arriving with his Deluminator was all it took. We ended up having to read all of the books as a family after that, as one of my sisters kept letting out spoilers if she read it first. I totally understand that pain because Meg reads like 3 pages ahead of me, and 3 pages can contain a lot.
A lot.
Especially when it's, the last book and people are dying left and right. So it's okay, I still love you. But thank you very much, Ariel, for submitting your story.
And I like your name.
Yes.
It's a great name.
Is it Ariel? I'm sorry if I ruined it. But either way, it's very pretty.
Ariel.
We also don't know how to say stuff.
We don't know how to say
It could be anything at this point.
Yeah.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
I'm sure she's loving that.
Do you think that she has red hair?
For me.
That would like make my life.
Do you have red hair? Tell us.
Do you have red hair?
That's the name of this episode. Do you have red hair?
We want to know.
My grandma, I once colored my hair red and she told me I looked like Raggedy Ann. And then I responded with, what? Well, it's not a bad thing. I go, it's not a good thing. Like a Raggedy Ann doll.
Which grandma said that?
Hagen.
Of course.
So,
Good old Mary Kay.
make sure you use our pinned post on Facebook to use for discussions on this episode. Post your questions, comments, concerns, etc. And anybody can respond or answer to anyone, and we'll definitely jump in on responses as well. So go find us on Facebook. We are most active there, and like our page to get all the latest info. We are Swish and Flick Podcast on Facebook or Swish Flick Cast on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. We also can be found on Patreon under Swish and Flick Podcast. And you can see all the different levels that you can choose to support us on Patreon and get some pretty cool things in return from us. So go and check it out. If anyone wants any Swish and Flick swag, we also have a store on TeePublic as well. So check our store out at teepublic.com/swishflickcast.
Yes. All All right, everyone. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice!
My God.
Becky, look at her butt. I'm quoting all kinds of songs today. All right, Harry. Harry.
Harry.
Oh, we're going to the Niffler. Oh, wonderful. You pull this little piece out. We're going to see what's inside. The door doesn't want to open. Oh, look, there's Newt. He's catching the Niffler. He's stealing all the gold. Oh, look, there's, what's his name, Jacob?
Why can't you remember Jacob?
At least I remember his real name. It says in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Newt Scamander smuggles in a Niffler into New York. Crazy things happen.